actually woke up this morning feeling a bit sick because me and Lucinda went to this like Kiss the Berry event. It's like an acai bowl place and they had all these yummy treats. So I didn't have dinner, I had them. So when I got home, I was still kind of hungry. So instead of having something savory and substantial, I started picking at some Loving Earth chocolate, and I basically finished the whole thing. So I woke up feeling really sick. I didn't actually eat that much, but I think just because I had nothing savory, I feel not great. I think I am going to talk about later on in the day, just when I have a bit of more time, about binge eating, because my background, I actually really struggled with binge eating. So like last night is like nothing compared to what I would usually do. So if you watched my last video, I'm on a mini cut in preparation for my wedding in 6 months. So this cut is only a couple weeks, but I'm kind of in the second week. So basically, literally the night after I finished filming my last vlog, I was doing heaps of research. I was actually listening to a podcast that day about high fat diets, like kind of ketogenic. And so the next day I actually started eating a high fat diet. I talked to LJ about it and she said that was fine, but she just wanted me to keep my calories the same so I knew what I was eating and I wasn't like starving myself or anything like that. So I kept my calories the same and I just changed my macros. So I usually have quite an equal macro balance in regards to protein, fats and carbs. But in this mini cut, I was doing a bit of research and I really liked the sound of the high fat kind of ketogenic diet, and I've actually done high fat before and had pretty good results. So that's what I'm doing. My macros at the moment are kind of 10 to 20% carb, 30% protein, and then the rest fats. I just use MyFitnessPal and they have like a section where you can do it with your macros. During the week, I was tracking quite consistently and well and reaching my macros, but it is Saturday today and I don't track on the weekend. That's kind of like a little rule I have. So I'm gonna show you what I eat today, but it's gonna be not as tracked and structured, and it also is the weekend, and even though today isn't my cheat day, I still kind of give myself a break. And I think that's actually the beauty of me starting now for my wedding in 6 months, is because I can be a little bit lenient on the weekend. You know, like because it's not 8 weeks out, I don't have to be so structured and crazy. So that's what I kind of like. And personally, if I don't have a little bit of leniency in my diet and training, I don't stick to it at all. I'm gonna show you what I eat high fat, but just keep in mind this is Saturday, so a little bit more lenient than during my week. But I will film on what I eat in the day during the week, like a more strict high fat diet, just because since I posted on my Instagram story that's how I'm eating, I have had quite a few girls say, hey, can you show me what like a day looks like, or just like recipes and stuff like that. So this morning, Izzy's coming around, just doing a boxing class. Then we're just gonna have some breakfast, and then I actually have an eyebrow appointment. I'm getting my eyebrows re-tattooed. So just having my pre-workout. As always, I will leave the sort of concoction I make in the description because I always get asked. But Izzy's just texted me and said she's running late, so I'm going to make her a pre-workout, have it ready for her, and then we're gonna go because we're running a bit late, which is me as a person. Here's your pre-workout I made you.
Excellent. Have you already had yours?
Yeah, I put extra fat burner in yours. You need it.
So rude.
I'm joking. I didn't.
Not seriously, get though.
Mate, you're an actual stinker. Okay.
Wait, why were you late?
It is a bit hot. About to go get our sweat on. It's a beautiful day. Finished our boxing class. How did you find it is?
So good.
We got a bit sweaty. So
Sweaty.
now we're just gonna have some breakfast. So I just got a nutrient bowl which has ginger, edamame beans, an egg, kale, and I added some halloumi. What did you get, Iz?
that
He's
yet.
got the burrito bowl. And then we just got 2 iced coffees. And so as you can see, I've got no toast or anything. This is just like a bowl. So the halloumi and the egg and all that makes it high fat. So I've just got home. I've actually already been to the brow specialist. Have a look at them bad boys. So I've actually had my eyebrows tattooed like maybe 2 years ago. So I get them like retouched every 15 months or so. Anyway, so I'm back home and I'm about to cook some lunch, and I just thought I'd touch on my high fat diet again. So I've actually done low carb high fat before and had pretty good results. In saying that, that's through trial and error. Some people don't do well on a low carb high fat diet. Some people literally just like their body can't function off it. I find personally the training I do, obviously I do weights and I train really hard, but I find my training's fine, my energy's fine of high fat. I know some people, especially people who are like athletes or work really physical jobs, like need the carbs, and that's understandable. But me personally, I do quite well on high fat, low carb, and because fats keep you really full, I even do better on high fat, low carb. So when I do decrease my calories, because at the moment my calories are the same, I just changed my macros. So when I do decrease to lose a bit more body fat, I often find that I'm fine on high fat because high fat is so satiating. You kind of just need to trial and error and figure it out yourself if high fat works for you. But if you are interested in high fat, I would go research like ketogenic diet and that sort of thing, because there are heaps of other benefits other than just like losing body fat. So definitely check that out. And basically what it is normally your body is running off glucose, so that's carbs. So when you're in high fat, your body is running off fats instead. So I've just looked in the fridge and I literally have no food, so I'm gonna have to go grocery shopping this afternoon. But I wanna have something now, so I'm just going to make a protein smoothie. And this is a protein smoothie that I usually have for breakfast. So I'm gonna make that, and the ingredients are weird, but it is the best smoothie ever. Guys, look at that. Look how creamy it is. I actually can't get over how good this smoothie tastes. Like, if you haven't tried the salted caramel protein from Prana On, which is all natural, vegan, all that good stuff, you are missing out. It is the best protein I have ever tasted. And I wasn't even really a salted caramel fan, and I'm so obsessed. And it literally goes with like most flavors. I don't know how, it's amazing. You know, that's such a good smoothie, super high in fat. So that's what I've been having for breakfast most days. So another thing I want to talk about is binge eating. Often I get asked the question, what can you do after it? Like I said last night, I ate a little bit too much food. I guess you can call it a binge. In saying that, compared to what I used to do, was not at all. Previously, I had a bit of an issue with binge eating, and basically I would restrict myself all week, like literally not one bad thing, and then on the weekend I would go, not so much the weekend, but Friday night I would go crazy. Like I'd eat blocks of chocolate, take out massive amounts of food because I'd restricted myself so much all week. It took so long for me to realize how bad that was, because I was actually quite lean at that stage and maintaining my body weight, but mentally was not healthy at all. I can go a bit more into it in a different video, but I have had a bit of a pass with it, and it's not fun because basically you binge, you feel like crap, you restrict yourself again, and because you're restricting yourself, you binge again. Like, it's just this vicious cycle, and I know how hard it is. So the question in regards to what do you do the day after binging, and like you've seen today, I've had a very normal day. I personally don't do anything, like I don't not have breakfast or anything like that, and that's just because for me personally, when I have a binge, it's usually my body trying to tell me something. So for example, last night, I didn't have any dinner. Like I just went to that event and we had like bliss balls and like waffles and koyo, and it was all healthy and vegan and all that good stuff. But my body was craving, you know, proteins and healthy fat to keep it satiated. So when I got home, my body obviously wanted that, but I stupidly didn't listen to it and I ate more sweet foods, which then I just couldn't get full because that's not what my body wanted. The day after, I just go about my day completely normal, because if I then don't have breakfast or don't eat for a certain amount of time, you're just feeding into the binge cycle and it's just gonna happen again. So I go, I'm human, it all happens. I think just knowing knowing that habit isn't healthy is kind of the first step, and going, okay, let's have a look. I didn't have dinner, that probably triggered it. Next time before I go to one of those events, I'm gonna make sure I have a bit of a small meal before, just so my body isn't feeling like that. And just reflect, but then completely get over it and just get on with life, because life is too short, as corny as it sounds. Obviously, if you don't still full from the night before and you don't want to have breakfast, sure, don't have breakfast. But personally, I find when I go back to schedule and back how I'd usually eat and go about my day, I'm completely fine. And I don't dwell on it, like, just accept that it's happened, learn from it, move on. Because if you dwell on it, like I could have woken up and gone for a run or something like that. But again, that's kind of just feeding into the bad habit, and you just sort of create this vicious cycle. Also, as you guys know, a lot of the time, if I'm craving something sweet, I find a healthy alternative. And most nights I have something sweet, like I have, that yummy chocolate, or have a bit of yogurt and stuff like that. So I find if I'm craving something sweet, I will have it. I'll just make sure it's a healthy alternative and I'll eat it. And so that just makes sure I don't totally restrict myself and then 5 days later or something like that, I eat the whole cupboard. So that works for me, and that's why I will have my little desserts at night. If there is something I'm craving, I try and make a healthy alternative. So that's like the healthy lasagna I made. So I find that personally works for me and it stops me from binging. But it is such a process, and I still now struggle with falling back into bad habits. But you just have to constantly be working on it. Accepting it and realizing that it is a bad habit is the first step. And then from there, you can just sort of progress, and small, slow progress. Don't expect to never binge eat again, because we're all human and it's gonna happen. So this is my dinner all made. I just cooked some salmon and some vegetables, eggplant, broccoli, capsicum. I'm still making sure I'm having heaps of vegetables, because that's where I get all my yummy vitamins and nutrients from. And then I've just drizzled the whole thing with olive oil, and then I put those chopped up Brazil nuts on top. So the olive oil, the Brazil nuts, and the salmon is my fats, and then obviously just my salad and vegetables to get in my micronutrients. Just a Greek yogurt. This has no added sugar, strawberries, and my Loving Earth chocolate.